Good morning, everyone. January in Florida. Look at all those tomatoes. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? This is my tomato plant on the tower garden. I have a bunch, but this is one of them. And I want to show you guys how I'm growing it. And let me give you a tip for the tower garden. So when you're growing tomatoes, do you see how my tomato is coming out of the tower right there? And I'm keeping that whole area along the stem, I'm keeping it trimmed back because I want to be able to actually get at the base of the tower. Do you see how it's all accessible even though I have tomatoes growing all around it? The base of the tower is completely accessible. This plant's a new one I'm trying in the tower. It's a tomatillo, and I'm going to grow it and see how we like it. My husband thinks that we'll love it. He asked me to grow it. This is the Demilpa tomatillo. It's a pretty plant. But it should get pretty big as a tomato plant, I think, and give us lots of tomatillos for our salsa. With all these tomatoes, you know, we're getting like, on this tower right here, we have 2 cherry plants, 2 of the sunburst cherry tomato plants, and on the back side of it there, I have a brandywine. So we're getting, you know, 40 tomatoes a day or so off of it. So this tower is going through quite a bit of water. So keep an eye on your levels. You'll be really surprised when the tomatoes start coming into season, how fast you'll go through water. And you know, you want to add your water and your nutrients. So I'm going to add this is how easy it is. I already put the water in with a hose, and I'm going to add my nutrients. And this is the Tower Garden Tonic. You know, it's just researching a little bit more about the Tower Tonic because I've had a lot of questions about it. And it's if you have any questions, ask me about it. But really, you know, the Tower Tonic is the only hydroponic formula that has really been developed for human nutrition, and not for a huge flush of growth on your plants, but for human nutrition. You also get great big plants, but there's no ammoniacal nitrate in it, which is what conventional hydroponic fertilizers have, because that's like feeding sugar to your plants. That's going to create big growth, explosive growth. But it's going to create a weak cell structure, and there's not going to be as much nutrition in the plants. So when Tim Blake, you know, he worked on this tonic, he had done a lot of research with NASA. He was with the Department of Energy. He was with Epcot. He's the guy who developed this, and he really looked at human nutrition in terms of the Tower Tonic. And I found it to be very, very inexpensive also to feed a tower, less than $10 a month. I think it's fantastic stuff. But on to everything else. There's my strawberry plants, and I'm sorry guys, I already ate the right strawberries off the plants this morning. I couldn't resist. Here's a little pepper, and we're growing peppers. We're starting them in January in Florida, which is just literally impossible on the ground because of freezes and such. But you know what? If we get a bad freeze, this little pepper plant is very sensitive to it. But I'm just going to take it in the house if we get a bad freeze, and I'm going to say, here you go, little guy, you sit out the night. Don't worry about the freeze. And I will have peppers way before anybody else has peppers if they're growing in the ground. So that's the coolest thing. I've got a sugar snap pea in there. This is radish. We can grow radish in the towers, but it's kind of a waste of a space. I wouldn't recommend you do it unless you have a lot of towers like I do, because you only get 3 radishes in 3 weeks out of one spot. So it's really more of a, let's see if we can do this sort of plant. Here's my big brandywines right here. So you can see them back there growing. Sort of, maybe. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. And a lot of lettuces. And, oh, this guy right here, do you see how he's bolting right there? That's indication either he's old or he got stressed. So this is a plant that I'm going to want to pull out. Let's see if I can do this. I'll take the whole plant out, maybe not. Oh, here we go. Okay, see the roots right here? I'm going to take this whole plant out. I'm going to stick it in the fridge with the roots and all. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to replant another plant. And I'm going to eat this plant right here that's in the fridge. It's going to live because the roots are going to keep it alive. It's going to live for a few days. And so even out of the fridge, even my lettuce in the fridge is going to be alive and fresh and totally nutritious. And while I'm eating this lettuce plant, I'll have another one growing. So let's walk over here. And I'm so sorry if it's shaky. One of these days maybe I'll upgrade to a better camera. But I'm going to grab a pot, and I want to grab another lettuce plant to replace that. So here's my pot. I'll grab this lettuce plant right here. I'll pop it in. There we go. And let's walk it over here. I want you to see how easy it is to replace this plant. Boom. There it is. So while this guy's growing, I'm going to eat on the other one, and of course these other beautiful lettuce plants that I have out here, and really enjoy this. Here's another tomato plant here. This is a pink something or another. I can't remember, but I'm excited about these. I haven't tried one yet. Lots of, you know, this guy surprised me. I came out here and I was trimming away. Remember how I said you need to keep the stem trimmed? So I was trimming the stem on my tomato plant so that it didn't, so that I could actually get in to water and take care of my tower. And I went, oh my word, I didn't even see this huge lettuce plant back there. That's a beauty. Here's my broccoli right there, and that's how the broccoli comes. There's lots of little broccoli guys, and what you do is you come out here and you just grab them like this, and this is what you eat, and it's the sweetest broccoli you'll ever eat. It is so delicious. This is a Chinese broccoli, and eat the leaves, the stems, everything, and take these big leaves right here, put them in smoothies or cook them up in a stir fry. I mean, they're really good. And then here's celery, and I'm trying new celery too, one that looks more like a traditional celery. I've got it somewhere here in this tower. I don't remember where. Here's another lettuce. Oh my word. You know, do you think I should probably eat this guy? He is massively huge. And I just didn't notice him. These are my favorite. This is the Cherokee. Such a pretty, pretty color on the Cherokee. Right here I have a pumpkin growing, and it's growing out. You see that toothbrush back there? Somebody asked me, what's the toothbrush for? And I said, it's actually really good for scrubbing the little, like sometimes here you'll get like a little bit of mineral buildup. It's good for, you know, just scrubbing that, so I usually keep a toothbrush out here. But anyways, here is my pumpkin plant, and what happened was during a freeze, all the stuff on the ground froze, but the actual roots and the base of the plant didn't freeze because it was in the tower. So after the freeze, everything came back nicely and is regrowing. If I get another freeze, I'll lose it, but the point is that it'll come back again. So maybe 2 more freezes before March 1st, and my plant will be well established and growing and producing pumpkins in the spring. If I covered everything up too, it actually wouldn't freeze, but I don't always get out here and cover it. That's a mustard green. That's a little guy. And we come over here. I have another tomato. I need to stake this one up. I'm gonna I have a stake out front. I'm gonna stake it. Oh, and here's my more traditional celery. And it doesn't look like it right now, but it will grow like a regular celery plant. I just didn't realize you could grow them in Florida until somebody showed me that you could grow. And here's lettuce, and I have an empty pot. Oh, I just noticed that. Parsley. This is actually another radish plant. My husband's favorite is the thyme. And here is another brandywine tomato. Let me go around the other way. It'll be easier. But isn't that a beaut? You know, let me just show you this brandywine right here versus the one in the pot. That does get fed, that does get watered, but such a clear difference in the plant, and that's simply because this has got a great growing environment. Tim Blink, one of the things he did with the Department of Energy is he worked on monitoring plant stressors in different environments. And so he is an expert in what will stress a plant. When he created the Tower Garden, he created it to create a very low stress environment. And what you see, you know, even if you're not the perfect tower gardener, if you just don't get out here and check your plants very often, or you know, maybe you let your water run a little too low, the plants will actually really thrive. So I've got a little sweet Valentine romaine right there, and I've got some Swiss chard growing there, and another tomato plant growing there. So I'm just going to sort of give you a wide view here of my tower gardens. Kind of maybe give you a perspective. I've got another tower garden up front, but I'm not going to take you guys out there to check it out. But you know what? When I talk to people about gardening and I say to them, you know, if you're gardening, are you actually feeding your family off of what you're gardening? And most of the time they say no. Even very seasoned gardeners who are great, wonderful gardeners will often tell me no. I'm not feeding my family on a consistent basis. I'm getting a crop here and a crop there, but it's not something that, you know, I can count on. It's not actually taking money off my grocery bill. In fact, my garden's costing me a lot of money. And this is very, very, very consistent when I talk to people in Florida here. And what I say to them is, I eat off this tower every single day. We eat, you know, we have the 3 towers, but if we didn't, we would still have quite a bit of food because we're growing things that, you know, are kind of fun, you know, like the thyme and 2 parsley plants and extra stuff. But, you know, with one well-designed tower, you can feed your family. And, you know, we come out here and we'll get a whole head of lettuce and we'll eat it. And really, a lot of times we'll come out and snack on lettuce and we'll snack on kale and we'll snack on parsley and we'll snack on tomatoes. And what I found is that without changing our eating habits drastically, we've all gotten healthier, we've all lost weight, and that's just really amazing. So yeah, the tower gardens consistently feed us. It's not like our ground garden, which is hit or miss. We never know what we're going to get out of the ground garden. The towers, it's consistent, it's food, it's what our family needs. So I hope you guys really consider growing a tower garden and ask me questions. I would love to answer your questions, and email me. And you have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend.